Hey, what's up, my beautiful people, Sun Soul Nation? How you guys doing? Thank you so much for tuning in to your May 5th daily astrological energy report. I am your host, spiritual bodybuilder. Thank you for tuning in. Um, I'm, uh, I'm working with Maru every other Tuesday. I do a report. We got this collaboration thing going on from my super homie. We are in here representing it through these crazy, crazy times. Well, I guess it's all subjective, crazy, not crazy, what have you. But, I'm really excited and happy to be here with you guys and to be giving you this information. I'm so grateful for Maru for, just her friendship and for, to be able to work with such a gifted astrologer and just a gifted human being in general. If you'd like to check out my services, especially my opportunity community, please check out my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com, and please like, share, and subscribe this video so we can get this information out to as many people as possible. Right now, it is so important to get as many different avenues of perspective, right, out to people, because we are really going through some incredibly transformative times, and different people respond to different perspectives, right? So I have a different way of channeling and developing the information through my subjective persona and perspective. So I'm going to reach other people that Maru may not, and vice versa. So if you think that people will resonate with my message, please send this information to them. Get the word out, because we need people to wake up, and it is our mission, it is our job, it is our passion as light workers, as astrologers, as starseeds, as awakened beings, to bring this information to people that are seeking and searching and looking for a better way, looking for that deeper part of themselves, right? And today is a very significant day, my friends, because we have the nodes that are shifted into Gemini and Sagittarius. This is the first day they will be in this sign for the next 18 months. This is like a threshold that we have just crossed into today. And so this energy of Cancer and Capricorn is going to start to dissolve a bit, okay? Now, of course, we still have Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn will be coming back in shortly, throughout the year. So the Capricorn energy still going on, but at least karmically, we have the nodes that have now shifted into the energy of Sagittarius, which is very, very different than Capricorn. So at least that karmic or destined sort of energy is left the building, okay? As well as Cancer. Now, there's less stuff going on in Cancer, but still it kept things very emotional, because with the nodes, with the North Node in Cancer, that was all about developing our emotional body, understanding and looking at what we want our beliefs and our desires emotionally to be. So we create this foundation, this groundwork of really identifying what we really want in our lives, right? Now, and you can see this all over the place as well as within, right? With the North Node going into Gemini, 29 degrees, first of all, of course, the nodes go right into a master number. So where it's like a pow. The nodes are unique because, it's just a point on the north and south aspects of the moon. So this is more of like an energetic understanding of where destiny is bringing us. So it's just shifting the energy of the moon, which is our emotions, right? But this is karmic energy. This is bringing into play the karmic directions that we are going in life now. So we have established these fundamental emotional boundaries and these ideas or beliefs behind which we want to create our emotional home, right? Now that we've established that in the past 18 months, now we are going into taking these emotional structures that we've created, and now we want to communicate it. Now we want to get it out there. Now we want to bring what we've learned and what we feel and what we believe out to the world and let everybody know. And we can see that with all the politics and all the shenanigans going on all over the world, okay? But this is deeply internal, because this is going to change how we do business. This is going to change how we connect to people. For example, like, you know, if you're like, I know a lot of people that do marketing and advertising for different big businesses and companies. And, you know, our beliefs are now so solid that we have a moral and an ethical value attached to these beliefs. So when we're doing, you know, business deals, if there's an aspect of this business deal that is not in alignment with the moral and ethical structure of our beliefs, we're going to have a really, really hard time doing business with these people, right? And especially with all the world stuff going on and all this, you know, all these experiences that are happening, if we feel it's not right, you know, we may just have to do something else, or like cut off clientele. Now, for what it is that me and Maru like do with this kind of business about, you know, talking to you guys, this is, you know, more along the lines of coaching. So the energies that we bring in, it's already very specific, and, you know, where we attract people that believe in the same things that we believe, right? But when it comes to things outside of this, like, say, I was talking to a friend yesterday regarding this project that he's undertaking for creating masks. Like, these big corporations want to put in orders for millions of masks, right? Now, trying to market them in a certain way, saying that, okay, we need the masks because this whole, you know, I don't want to say the word, but this whole, you know, viral pandemic thing going on, you know, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was misleading. It was like marketing to get, you know, with the assumed belief that this is real and that this is a real threat and a real problem. And if you don't believe that this is a real problem, that there's, you know, that there are agendas going on underneath it, you're going to have a hard time, you know, doing business or accepting money to put information out that you don't fully believe in. And this is going to be getting more like deeper and deeper. And especially with Neptune also going now in the third decan of Pisces. You know, this is an energy that was going on right around like the Salem witch trials. Okay, so these beliefs are going to start to get so ingrained and so separated that we're going to start to see like some really big issues coming up between, you know, groups of people. This is where, you know, it's building up to the Saturn Uranus square that's really going to be taking place next year. We got a little bit of taste of it in the last few months, but next year, when Saturn fully goes into Aquarius and it starts to square Uranus, that's going to be this real push-pull dynamic of control and revolution. And we're seeing that a little bit, but because Saturn is going to go back into Capricorn with Pluto and Jupiter all going retrograde, they're all sort of hanging out in the same area, we still have this Capricorn energy that is very strong and that is very like going deeper into splitting. It's like almost we're splitting the energy entirely all the way down to the core in the collective unconscious. And this is really gonna make a distinct separation between, you know, fear and control and love and evolution or revolution. Now, that can get a little messy, you know, when you get into the semantics of it, but basically this is 3D versus 5D, right? And we are choosing teams, basically. And next year, dodgeball, baby. That's when things are going to get real. But we're starting now with these energies shifting into wanting to communicate these beliefs. Gemini is all about, it's all about cerebral activity. It's all about, you know, like, debates and having, doing research and identifying like practical information that's going to bring things to light. But we're also very emotionally involved or invested in this very cerebral activity. And this is also going to be like the foundation of how we choose people we want to be around with, choose our friends, choose business associates. And, you know, you're going to find that this is going to get more and more intense as people grow deeper into these different belief systems. I feel like this similarity to the 60s, right? When we had the civil rights movement and these people and like thought leaders and teachers that came into play when we wanted to make these changes and these things, you know, really come into fruition, but never happened at that time. because I think that, you know, consciousness, or, you know, the people that were growing, evolving, weren't quite ready. But I do believe that we are ready now as we come into the age of Aquarius. And, you know, things are going to be changing pretty significantly here, even from where they're at now. Okay, so today here, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart, and let's see what we have going on. So, as we can see, the moon today is going to be going through Libra, and it's going to be opposing Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, which is retrograde, 27 degrees in Aries. So, you know, this is all about looking at the vulnerable aspects of our relationships, of who we are, of what we want. You know, like could be like, you know, identifying manipulations of energy, and, you know, identifying, you know, how these deeper vulnerabilities within all of us, that is really that is just really, we can see it and feel it turning and changing, but we don't really understand where it's going. And that not understanding where it's going is sort of this fear of the unknown. And especially right now with Venus exactly square to Neptune, this is making things very foggy, very confusing. Our emotions are sort of like that is the emotional state that makes us feel a little bit lost and a little bit confused about everything that's going on. But, you know, we just also had a Mercury cazimi with the sun yesterday. Now Mercury is at 17 degrees, while the sun is at 16 degrees in Taurus. So this is like the communication is just bam, it's in our face. And this is also sesquiquadrate over to the south node. So this could be having like realizations or feelings come up that we don't really fully understand, that is really making us feel off or feel lost. And that's where we just have to sort of just let go of trying to figure it out and just be okay with not being okay. Technology is going to be sort of on the fritz here for probably the next like month or two, on and off, with all these intense energies coming in. So, and the south node, of course, now is right on top of the galactic center, and we'll be there for the next month and a half or so, because the galactic center is essentially like 3-4 degrees at the very end of Sagittarius. So what does the south node at the galactic center mean? Well, my interpretation of that is that we are seeing and feeling this. You know, the galactic center represents the core of the collective unconscious, right? This is really bringing a lot of clarity and understanding of like this intuitive feeling like, wow, something's not right here. Some shit's going on, some shit's going down, and more people will be waking up when this energy hits their unconscious mind. And so this is very powerful for either bringing in past life lessons. It could be bringing in past life people into our lives. It could be, you know, letting go of a lot of past life karma. This is very, very karmic time, guys. So, you know, and the moon is going to be sextile this, and then the south node is also trine over to Black Moon Lilith. So really having a lot of shit just shoved in our face and seeing, okay, this is what's going on. And, you know, especially with Mercury right there on top of the sun, it's this communication, it can be intense. It can be a little brutal, honestly, because it's, you know, sometimes, you know, they say the truth will set you free, but first going to piss you off. And we're seeing a lot of truth right now, and people are afraid of the truth. That's why we have all this censorship. But, you know, censorship online, that's a lot. That's this Saturn in Aquarius. Once Saturn goes retrograde and goes back into Capricorn, I think that there's going to be some blowback from that big time. And then they're going to try to figure out other ways that they can censor. But there's going to be a lot of resistance to it. And that's when Saturn goes back into Aquarius next year. That's when we're really going to see, like, okay, people have stepped up and figure out other ways to get the word out there. And it's going to change the internet, really. I believe it's going to change the internet. It's going to change the way we do business. It's going to change the way that we interact with people. And because we're going to have to get creative here, you know. New technologies are going to be coming out real soon too. I mean, shit's going to start to get real weird. And especially right now, especially with relationships, we need to be real careful. Okay, because whatever's going on in relationships is going to be strong emotional responses to what's going on with Venus getting ready to go retrograde. And with this square, it's going to hit this square 3 times, but it's sort of sitting there because it's going retrograde at 21 degrees, and Neptune is just sitting there at 20 degrees for a while. you know, this is really just going to be making things confusing, but also like, you know, I'm going to be feeling some new feelings, getting deeper into our consciousness. And right now the moon is there's a grand trine, a grand air trine. Okay. So this is like things may all of a sudden just make sense. You have epiphanies, you have awarenesses. Okay. Because the information is flowing freely. And this is between the divine, you know, masculine, divine feminine. We do still have, you know, Venus in a loose trine here with Mars. That's going to end pretty soon. But thank God, you know, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are still communicating efficiently. This is allowing us to really open up whatever imbalances we have in the divine masculine and divine feminine within ourselves. That is sort of getting a little gut check right now to say, hey, we got to activate our divine feminine a little bit more. You know, we don't know everything. We need to learn how to receive better, or, you know, we have to step back. The impulsiveness is there, but it's more and more like, you know, we're having the opportunity here with the energy to have more control over the impulsiveness, but the impulsiveness will also be getting stronger with this Venus retrograde. So this cerebral activity, building communities, all right, based on belief systems is going to be strong. So, you know, if you have an idea, like there's going to be new way, like cryptocurrency is going to be here. You know, people getting out like books or blogs or vlogs, things like this. A lot more people are going to be wanting to do this kind of stuff. We're already seeing it all over the social media. So, you know, we have to be ready and willing to let go and embrace all this change. And today we're going to be really feeling and thinking about the relationships in our lives. You know, what's going on with all that relationship shenanigans, and what is it that we really want? So the sun, 16 degrees of Taurus, says a young girl and boy explore a perfume counter, weaving polarities adroitly with alchemical awareness of what can come from the right combinations. You are fascinated and awestruck by all the various combinations, facets, and ways the life force distributes itself and plays itself out. The rapt admirer of the wisdom and beauty of nature, transfixed by what happens around here, coming at things always from yet another side, yet never feeling it is enough. There is more to be done, infinitely more to partake in and enhance. The world is an open book, and it magnetically, almost hypnotically draws your attention and interest to what is needed next, to what is emergent and outstanding as life matches dreams, and dreams encompass fantastic variety and vivid spectrum to lose yourself in the discover everything through from one end of the earth to the other. And so this really, man, it's always fascinating to me just how accurate this numerology is of these degrees, of each degree of where the sun is. I mean, there is so much information. It's like time is speeding up, right? As we raise our vibration, the time speeds up. And it's almost like we feel this pull in all these different directions, and we don't know how to work with it, or we don't know what to do with it. But then we have moments where we realize, hey, there is nothing we're supposed to do with it. We just let it be what it is, right? And that can be difficult sometimes when we get caught in our head of we have some major situation going on. Everybody has one situation going on in their life right now that is difficult, challenging, that is, you know, like that is teaching us a lesson. And the key here, really, when it comes down to it, is to stop trying to figure it out. Tune into yourselves, take a step back, and disconnect, unplug from the matrix, because the matrix is trying to plug us in, and it has these cords that are just trying to get us all over the place. And really, the more that we get caught up in like arguments online or debates right now with people that have a different belief system. I mean, you might be surprised, people you know and love, family members, you know, people that even very intelligent people, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's a whole different level of like, you know, expression. And it's very emotional, and it's a lot of it, you know, like a lot of it is activating our wounds. We're having a collective dark night of the soul. And if you notice, anytime back in history when there is a collective dark night of the soul, like take the 60s, for example, right? Lots and lots of people had spiritual awakenings. And then like we had that revolution of, people that were experimenting with LSD and, like the civil rights, trying to bring people together. It creates a lot of havoc because the control systems that are in place, they do not like change. Change disrupts what is, but things need to be disrupted because there is a ton of corruption out there. And we have to be willing to stand up for what we believe in a high vibrational way. Meaning, you can stand up for what you believe in without feeding the bullshit, right? Once people start to try to pull that negativity out of you, that's when it's up to us to stand in our love and not get triggered by the people that are triggered. And that is a constant test right now because people are trying to trigger us from up, down, left, right, and every which way but loose, right? So when you find yourself in that position where you feel like you're being triggered, and then it's like the trigger will activate this emotion that will actually short circuit your ability to debate things. That's when the real work is happening. When we're able to take our step back and not be triggered. And when you can respond to someone that is triggered without being triggered, then that's when other people see that and they learn from it. Because if you're not being triggered, then you know that you're speaking your truth. And that truth is coming from a place of love. When you're triggered, that's coming from a place of fear. I cannot tell you how many people I have had interactions with, especially on social media, that are triggered as fuck and talking shit. And then, I can't talk to you anymore. Like this conversation just can't go anywhere. Okay, if that's how you feel. But, like you ask somebody, like somebody said today, like, well, I posted something about like, there's a gym opening in California. Like, yay, like the mental health stuff is getting worse than the actual, issue itself. And like, yes, I agree. I think that's a great idea. Like this, like healthy people should be allowed to do healthy things. That's, they're taking care of themselves. And someone, posted on my picture, like, oh, well, tell my lungs that, or some shit like that. Like, well, what does your lungs have to do with other people going to the gym and being healthy and still taking precautions? Okay. But that doesn't even add up. That makes no sense. And then, and I said that, and they're like, oh, well, until you go to a New York ER, then there's nothing to talk about. I was like, well, have you been to a New York ER? And they have not. Like, well, then check the facts, check the information that you're receiving. And until you actually see it for yourself, then maybe you should, stop responding emotionally and look within at these triggers. Everyone that's triggered is projecting their emotional insecurity and fear out onto the world. And the beliefs are getting so strong. So when people, this is our big test right now, okay? Especially with the node shifting, this test is going to become deeper and more critical. And we have to be super aware all the time so that when people get triggered, they don't trigger us, right? That we are able to stand in our strength and our power. We feel that come up, like, I feel like I gotta defend myself. I feel like I gotta do, nope. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but where's that opinion coming from? When you're not emotional, you can respond in an analytical Gemini fashion. And when you're able to consistently do that, that's when you know you are standing in your power. That's when you will have influence. And that is when you will gain the trust of others and with yourself. And that's how we're going to create this great high vibration nation that we all want to have and create, right? So that's what I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for having me, Maru. I love you, dude. And please go to my Instagram, Spiritual Bodybuilder, and please follow me and go to my website, and please join my opportunity community. And, we're all building these new and exciting, groups. And, you can go to my my Facebook as well. I have opportunity community group that we are just doing the deep work. We're at the 4-week coaching protocol that I created. Still still have a few spots for a free left where it's designed to trigger you so that you can work on your triggers in a safe place so that when it happens in other areas of your life, you're ready and you have the knowledge and the strength and the wherewithal and the willpower to exhibit your strength in a very peaceful and loving way, right? Because we all need that right now. So thank you guys so much. I love you very much. And I will see you guys on the next report. Namaste.